that.
Holy shit, I don't even know how to use it. Don't break the camera, please.
The camera loves me. The camera loves me.
Look at these trees, man.
The camera loves me.
Dance to the radio. This is cool, man. Look at this.
Oh, shit.
Dance to the radio.
I gotta come on.
After the festival normal. Clouds up, the clouds down,
Big drop.
hell up, and then we fall over
And
the border and never ending again. So that's more nice.
Changing the universe.
There's something wrong with this. spirit. Don't lose the feeling. It's blurred. Everything's blurred.
What is it?
Wait. 1 second. No, it's the dirty windows, I think.
Perhaps you don't use the autofocus.
Huh?
Perhaps you don't use the autofocus.
Why?
Because it's always changing distance.
Keep it on infinity so you don't
Yeah.
get the windows.
Yeah.
Just keep infinity. Farthest setting. Don't focus in it now just because you're going to get the dirt from the windows. Just keep it out. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Focus the farthest out. So you don't get the dirt in the windows.
Yeah.
It doesn't focus on the windows.
Yeah.
It'll focus out.
So put it on manual.
Yeah.
Go on. What?
Focus. Focus.
Is that fog?
Isn't this the time that we should go out and take a photo? In the snow? This is the... Should we do it right now? Let's get a band photo here. Come on.
Yeah, band photo.
Stop. Photo. Right here. Stop. Make a band photo. Yeah, a photo.
Band photo by these trees with all the brick. On the other side. Oh.
You're good.
Wow, we're really fucking making time now, boy. Pretty slick, boy. If you had to stop fast, forget it. Okay, go slow. Rather go slow. Tie up and get a decent barrel. Died deep. Yep, surfer guy. He died deep. Skater guy. Taper truck. Slide right off the road and tip over it. There's a flexible one. That's one thing I like about your friend. Every so often. Over the fucking mountain in the snow up into the ditch. And now we passed BS on the wall. I think the worst
How did we get to Alaska? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, all of a
We were
sudden.
in fucking Czechoslovakia a minute ago, and now we're in fucking Antarctica.
Yeah.
Fucking frozen wastelands. Shit.
You're not going to make it out of it tonight.
Make a concert with the ropes and the ice bears.
Du glaubst, dass wir werden in Hannover sein diese Nacht? Wir werden nicht in Hannover sein diese Nacht.
Was?
Wir werden nicht in Hannover sein.
Heute?
Nein.
Doch, 100%.
100%? 50%.
100. Wir werden wahrscheinlich sogar noch.
So, Hammy, you booked the Peter game this evening, right?
$10 for Manu.
Michael, please,
Somebody's house. I can't believe this is a live Joy Division in Czechoslovakia. You know how rare the sound is live Joy Division? This band tends to do like 2 years after this, like a year after. Car's coming.
Can I get your passport?
It's the border. We're gonna get stamped again.
We're near the border.
It's that happy passport time again.
Francis, I don't give my passport to nobody. That's my passport. And my motherfucking passport.
Covers.
I have it. window. That's the door.
Yeah, foggy pictures.
Watching forever.
I was moving through the silence without motion, waiting for you.
You're a dumb motherfucker.
In you. In you. In you. I trust in you.
Listen, any cursing is good. Any cursing is going. This has a microphone, so every curse that you say ruins this film.
I have to say confession.
Little children won't be able to hear. Watch this beautiful film of the.
Vater confession.
Look at this beautiful. We're not in Germany yet, right?
Yes, we are. You're good.
Yeah, we're in Germany.
We're doing it.
No, it's Germany.
We are. It's a D.
Yeah, we're in fucking Germany.
You didn't check your passport.
They stamped it. Deutschland.
With all them in the same household?
No, the first part was Czech. The second part was Germany. Where they stopped us was Germany.
Nah, that was a Czech.
We're in Germany.
The customs guy was from Germany?
No, Czech.
That was Czech. Germans don't look like that.
It's not their problem. The goods go on that.
We'll never make it up the hill anyway, so who
We
cares?
could have packed this shit with, like,
Heroin.
heroin.
Made more money than playing music.
Hashish. We could have put it, like, all up here, man.
You figure I've taken over almost 1,000 records through the customs or
People take atom bombs.
What's worse?
You have to pay checks for your CDs. The records.
The records,
we
probably.
don't know.
They do more damage.
Huh?
You have to pay checks for your CDs. They do mental damage.
Who?
Which leads to physical damage.
I have to pay?
Yeah, if you take it over the border, you get.
Yeah, but they don't know.
If you go to, yeah, they don't know. Yeah, if you go to,
I sent Connie 10 cassettes in the mail. They charged him $10 for tax for the 10 stupid cassettes.
$10.
Yeah. About 15 Deutsche Marks tax for the.
Oh, so that's why you didn't send these ahead of time? You took them with you on the plane?
Do you know how much tax they make me charge?
Yeah, but you're lucky that they
1,000?
didn't tax you here.
That'd be $1,500 worth of taxes I'd be paying.
Yeah, but you're lucky they didn't tax you like at the airport or
Because I'm a
whatever.
musical genius.
Musical con artist. Cheating the government out of
Yeah.
valuable tax dollars.
I'm bringing the German people culture.
They'd rather have buttermilk.
Who can blame it?
they don't have any snack food here or anything. I couldn't even find it. I couldn't even get a logie. There was not even an ice cream.
I want to eat ice cream before in the middle of winter.
Because right now I love an ice cream. I mean, they have all the kids running around the store. You think they'd have a little ice cream pop for the kids. Nothing. A lollipop. Nothing.
Lollipop. It's my lollipop.
The idea.
Geschallt.
Hier halt wirklich auseinanderbauen war.
Betonkreisig. Na. Yes.
Saw.
Saw.
For stones.
Oh.
For stones.
Peter, you do these? Are these are the balls? You do this?
It's from me. I take a piece of iron.
A hammer.
No, but the first time I tested schweißen. Hard one.
This is great.
Turn out.
Breaking his hands. Nah, he'll be back. I think what it is, see, his real name is Joe. He calls himself Copernicus. So, he has a split personality. Two people, yes. So what he has to do is he has to go into the band to change real, yeah. In fact, even today, I needed to change money, right?
This is my pen.
I am Copernicus, the modern day Copernicus. I use that name. Copernicus is a band. Normally, I do not perform this way. This is a special time. And what? And normally we're on tour now. And we just came from Prague. We played, and we did a gig in Berlin, a concert in Berlin. And we'll be doing a concert here in Hanover on 2 days, then Hamburg, then Marburg, and then Berlin. Basically, I have 4 musicians that we perform in concert with, and we have 4 albums. This is our newest album. This is the 3rd album. This is our 2nd album, and that's our 1st album. My friend from the gallery here asked me to, through a friend of mine, to come and do some poetry for you. Most of my work is poetry with music. Tonight there'll be no music, it'll just be poems and performance. What I'm going to do is 3 different ways. The first piece is going to be a spontaneous poem, a piece that comes from our 2nd album. All of these pieces are autobiographical. This will be a performance piece. I will sit here and perform this piece. The second thing I will do, I once wrote a novel about 28 years ago about Hanover, Germany. And I will go through this novel with you. And then the final part of this session, I will go through the poetry. All of the poetry comes from the albums, so you will hear these things without music. You all look so serious and like you're afraid of me. I promise you I won't hit anyone. Although the first piece is a very angry piece, and a lot of my poetry is angry. But don't be afraid, okay? Okay. Now, the 3 things, everything here tonight is going to be very autobiographical. This first piece is going to be a father sitting here and talking to his son. It's a monologue. The father is a person who drinks a lot. I know there's not too much drinking in Germany, but alcoholism is a part of life, and this describes a certain part of the life of Copernicus as a young man. This novel, written about Hanover, describes Copernicus coming into manhood. And this poetry describes the philosophy. Copernicus basically believes that nothing exists. He believes that life is an illusion, that you cannot perceive reality with your senses, and that everything your senses tell you is false. And that part, and when I get to this poetry, you will see that philosophy evolving. So this is really, tonight, I will use performance, I will use a novel in here, and I will use poetry to tell you a story, basically who Copernicus is, how he was a little boy, how he was 20 years old, and how he evolved into a person, a man thinking this way. Okay? And right now, I like to perform, and I have to change my clothes. So I need about 3 minutes. So you can now breathe for 3 minutes. I will take this off here. And if you like to look at this while I'm away, I'll be away 3 minutes. I left my voice in Prague.
Peter, gehst du noch ein Stück nach deinem Kurs, tatsächlich frei seid, ja? Kommt ihr noch mal ein Stück rein, dann können noch mehr Leute kommen.
Das ist die Ecke.
Wir sitzen jetzt hier einfach auf dem Boden. Freilassen, ja? Peter, der kleinen Hocker, wo sind die denn? Die habe ich weggepackt. Mach nachher auch hier. In die
Ecke bitte nicht entfernen. Und den Durchgang noch freilassen.
Over here. I said get over here, goddammit. Get over here. Bitch. Shit is shit, but don't put it on a stick. And you stick. I try to give you everything your heart desires. What do I get for it? Kick in the ass. Who do you think you are, some big deal? You're no big deal, you're shit. That's what you are, no good. Not good for anything. You come over here and start giving me a runaround. You're not fooling with some dope. I've been around, I used to pull the same shit when I was your age. I know all the angles. Even the experts try to fool me and they couldn't do a goddamn thing. And you ain't no expert. You're a little shit. You got some balls you have trying to pull that on your old man. Go out in the street and pull on them suckers, but don't pull on me. When I was your age, I was running a pool room. I used to bring $20 a week to my old man. That was during the Depression. I always had money in my pocket. Nobody would fool with me. It wasn't a son of a bitch living that would fool with me. They all knew me. Apples. Hey, apples. And when I was younger, I used to pick beans on a farm. 35 cents a bushel. The farmer would weigh every bushel. You couldn't fool him. I used to pick 3 bushels a day. That was $1.05. I kept the nickel, and I gave the dollar home. Sure. I had to. My old man was laid up for a whole year and burned his leg in an accident. You got it easy, and still you complain. And still you give your old man a running around. That's no way to do. Be a regular guy. Don't pull all that shit you try to pull. You try to make a jerk out of everybody. That's no way to be. When I got money, you got it, right? Sure. I brought you into the world. I raised you. Now you're getting big. You're gonna give me a hard time. You give me a hard time, you're gonna get one right back. And that's no bullshit either. That bag is almost full. Once it starts to overflow, you better look out. Then there's gonna be trouble. You're like your mother. She tries to give me a hard time, but she can't. Nobody gives me a hard time and gets away with it. I straighten all you out one by one. One by one, you'll all get straightened out. She thinks I'm always drunk. That's all she's got her goddamn mind. I'm drunk. I ain't never been drunk in my entire life. Sure, I take a drink now and then. That's my pleasure. Do I say anything when she drinks 10 cups of coffee? She gets up in the morning, has 10 cups of coffee. I take one drink, I'm no good, and she's good. Did you ever see your mother drunk? Sure, she was drunk plenty of times. I first met her in a bar. She says I stink. When I shit and it stinks. But when she shits, out comes Chanel No. 5. She's good for you kids, but she's no good for me. You weren't even born and your mother didn't want you. But I wanted you, and you were born. I can tell you plenty of stories about her, but you're too young. You wouldn't understand. I'm a working man, a top-rate painter. Jobs I did 10, 15 years ago, still like new. You can whistle at my work. They can't believe it when they see it. I paint all those Jew homes and they all shake their heads. Joe, they say, it's worth $1 million. Sure, it's worth $1 million, because I'm fucking Joe Apples, and my boss is another son of a bitch. He's always trying to tell me what to do. I say, go mind your business. You want the job done? Go take a walk. I talk to him like I talk to anybody else. He's no better. All these bosses are full of shit. They worry and worry. What do they worry about? What are you making faces about? You did wrong. You know it. Tell the truth. I don't give a goddamn what you do. But don't lie to me. Because it hurts me. Your mother lies. She lies to me. She lies like a fucking rug. I couldn't trust as far as I could throw her. Everything she says is a lie. What am I gonna do with a son of a bitch like that? She always wants money. Money, money, money. What does she do with all the money? I tell her, give me an itemized list. You think she'd do it? I take a couple of dollars for myself, I give her the rest. She wouldn't. She must gamble the shit away. She must. Where the hell else could it all go? I mean, I don't give a goddamn for money. But to everything there's a limit. Shit is shit, but don't put it on the stick, and you're putting it on the stick. I try to give everything your heart desires. What do I get for it? A kick in the ass, that's what I get. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of the whole shooting match here. It doesn't pay to be good. From now on, I'm gonna be a fuck-off like all of you. You think not? You make me cry, you sons of bitches. Tears come to my eyes. I try my best for you all, because I love you. You don't give a goddamn for me. I could kick the bucket tomorrow and none of yous would care. Yeah, your mother would run like hell to the bank with the insurance policy. She wouldn't care. You'd run with your mother. I'm no good and she's good. That's what you think. Well, you'll find out someday. I'm the good one around here, and she's the one you gotta watch. She'll steal your eyeballs if you weren't looking. When you were a little fuck like Jimmy, who used to clean all your shit and watch you? Your mother? I'll be goddamn. She was running her ass around. I was the one who used to take you fishing, to the movies, every place. Now you're big, you forget all I did. You think I'll give me a hard time? Give me a hard time, you're gonna get one right back, and that's no bullshit either. Your mother, all she wants to do is kill me. She spit my head 3 times already, and I didn't do a goddamn thing. I mind my business, and she comes right away with a fucking shoe ready to kill me. If I hit her once, I'd kill her. Don't worry. I wouldn't hurt her for $1 million. I love your mother. She's always giving me a hard time. She nags and nags. She drives me crazy. She drives me crazy. Fuck the neighbors. I don't care about the fucking neighbors. I have to yell at you bastards who never listen to me. I'm a drinking man. I like to drink. And there's no son of a bitch living gonna stop me. You got enough to eat? You got a pair of pants on your ass? You got a roof over your head? You better, you're goddamn right. Are you satisfied? Yeah, you better be satisfied. Who do you think brings all this shit home for you kids? Your mother? I bring your money home for you kids, not your mother. All she knows how to do is spend and nag. Joey, never get married because you think you love a woman. That's the worst fucking thing you can do. You marry a rich old bitch, inherit her money, and then take it easy. Don't be a fool like me. And the thing was, I was told before I married your mother she'd give me trouble. Oh, Mrs. Geddes, her boss, told me. Joe, she said, if you marry her, she'll give you trouble. And sure as shit, she was right. I can't believe what that woman said. Even her boss knew her. All right, talking doesn't mean a goddamn thing. One of these days, I'm gonna stop talking. And when I do, you better look out. I never hit you in my life. You keep pulling the shit you're pulling, you're gonna get what you're not looking for. Shit is shit. But you don't put it on a stick. Someday, when I'm in the grave, yeah, you think of all the hard times you gave your old man. Go ahead, get out of here. Go ahead, go take a walk. Get out of here. Goddamn kids.
Okay, Joe, it's over, Joe. Take her back. I went to this piece, and somebody said something rough to me. I almost killed him. When I put these clothes on, I take on the character. I become very aggressive. Anyway, I'm glad after I do things to answer any questions now in each section. If anybody has any questions?
Yeah, have any questions?
Any questions?
How do you like Hildesheim?
I haven't seen Hildesheim. It was too dark. All I've seen is this Galeria Pande and the street, but I haven't really seen it. Wait, this is not whiskey. What am I doing? Any other questions? Okay, no questions. Then I will go to the next section, and I will change again. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Take a rest. Where is the book? This section of what I wanted to do is not going to be as dramatic as the last section. This, 1961, I finished college and went to France and Paris, lived there for 2 months and spent all my money. And somebody was saying that there was lots of work in Germany. And that's about 29 years ago. So I went to Hanover. I knew a German girl in Hameln. So naturally I went there, and then I went to Hanover and I got a job doing Bauwerk on a school. And of course I naturally met a young girl, a German girl, and I stayed there a couple months and then went on to Cologne and then Hanover, Munich, and went back home. And then on the way back, in those days you didn't fly, you took boats. So you took a boat to America, you didn't fly. Today everybody flies. I decided to be an artist. And I wrote this novel about Hanover, Germany, 29 years ago. And I worked a couple of years. It's only 150 pages now, but at one point it was 365 pages. So I cut a lot out. And I brought it to a publisher and they told me that I was copying Ernest Hemingway. So I got very angry because I really worked hard on this. And I put it in a box and left it for 29 years. It sat there like this. And now at this point I had now become a musician with musicians. I'm making albums and decided to tour in Europe. And the first concert that I got as a musician with a group was in Hanover, Germany. And I told him that I had written a book about Hanover 29 years ago. And he said, bring it. And last year I did a reading with this book, and it's actually a very it's a document that freezes Hanover in time, because nothing has been touched. This has not been touched for 29 years. And it's basically a story about a young man, a young woman, and I don't, it's a simple story. The scenes are very simple, but the power of all of these simple scenes comes together. And I think it's a really good book, and it has to do basically with how we can grow through each other, how we can grow through people, how the male character here goes to another level through meeting this female there in Hanover. So what I'm going to do is go through the book very quickly here, and if at some point you would like me to read that section, if you think that's interesting, you just say, would you read that? And I'll read it, because I think it's a good way. So for example, around page 19, there's a comparison of old Hanover with new Hanover. Page 20, there's a description of the Rathaus. Now you have to understand, this is all written 29 years ago. This is not something I just wrote. 21 is a description of Marseille. 24, there's a description of the aggressiveness of the female character. Read that. Okay, page 24.
I thought you would just go through it first.
Oh, I thought she asked me to read it.
No. Okay, I would like to hear that too. But
oh, you want me to go back to it?
I thought you would just go through it and we could decide afterwards.
Okay, so I'll just mark that to read that later then, okay? 26, we get a view of the male character, how idealistic he is. Before that we saw how aggressive she was, and then page 26 we see how idealistic he is. On page 28, he realized that the female character is more than just a girl, that she's a symbol of the unknown, the adventure, and the exciting. For him.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And then you see here Renata as a possible path to God. Now this is a very strange story. I mean, it deals with male virginity, which is something that people laugh at today. But in 1961, sex was not that prevalent. You just didn't go meet the guy, have a drink, and go to bed with him. I mean, it just didn't happen. I don't think it happened in Germany either. So, so here, we are dealing here with male virginity, for example. This character has never been with a woman before. But he sees here in the female character of Renata a very spiritual experience. And it turns out to be that she is a spiritual experience. That how we as individuals can take each other to different worlds. And this is what happens. This is why this simple story is very interesting for me, because I'm reading it after 29 years. Because people have taken me, individual human beings have taken me to other levels through meeting people and talking. And this is a lot what this book happens in this book. Now, page 45, here you see the pessimism of German youth. In 1961, German youth were very pessimistic. Not like today. Today, German youth are more optimistic, I think, from what I see. Leave there? Huh?
Could you perhaps read some passages in German or so, or spread some German items into it?
I mean, use the German language?
Yes. No, I don't know if it's possible.
Oh, but I mean, there are some people that don't understand. Is that what you mean?
Yes, no, just to make it more, to give it another character, also, or a little more.
Okay, I'll try to understand what you're saying. Yeah, in 1961, in 61, die deutsche Jugend war sehr pessimistisch. They felt that a war was coming right away. You know, like all we should live is for today.
and that really tomorrow there'll be no tomorrow. And they felt that. Today I see German youth are more optimistic. They feel like, hey, we built something now and it will be here tomorrow. And the soldiers are leaving and there's hope. But like here in 45, you can see that they were more pessimistic. Here's a description of Herrenhausen Gardens. Prince magazine had a little thing saying no sex at the fountain. Page 51, growing through people, what through whom. By page 60, you can feel the suffering going on in John's soul. And the 62, man kann feel, dass dieser John, der heißt John, Jan, he's suffering. He's going through a spiritual suffering. He's going through a period of change in his life, and he is suffering severely. Page 79. There's a description of Ludwigstrasse in 1961. And we here see Renata saying things like, "Come follow me," which Jesus said those words, "Come follow me." Renata takes on the character of a real strong, powerful spiritual figure. Now here is page 84 where we see Renata is more aggressive and he is not aggressive, and he actually rejects her for her sexual aggressiveness. Today that wouldn't happen. In other words, she war mehr aggressiv, sexual, but he rejects her. That was not like something that was attractive to him. So that you could understand the kind of character John was. But John, at this point, is very aggressive, intellectual, spiritual person. He's searching for an intellectual answer to truth. That's what he wants.
Why just in Hanover?
Well, that's where it's happening. That's where Renata was. She was a very important figure to him. She brought him, like here, it's saying, she challenges him to challenge his past. For example, people, if you have a very tight system of living, of mind thinking, and if something cracks in that system, the whole system can fall down, just by one little crack, like a piece of granite. And this is what happens to him in this book. She challenges him sexually, and when he sees that what he was believing was wrong, or he challenges it, he breaks down everything else in his life, and he sort of throws everything off and goes to look for the new. This is a simple story, but it has a lot to do it. It says a lot. Of course, she's laughing at him because he is that way. He's still very conservative, super conservative. And compared to today, story of someone losing their... This is also he is in the process of losing his religion and torn between Catholicism and the world. We basically see a transformation in a person through another person. And that's the basic story. And here you see, in this book, you see the backdrops of Hanover. And again, it's 29 years old. So now we go back to some of the things that you'd like me to read. Page 24. They looked at each other laughing. He released his hand to wipe, one sec, where are they? I guess they're in Marseille. He released his hand to wipe his sweating forehead, and as she looked at him, he began to gently pat her forehead with his handkerchief. She looked at his eyes and retook his hand. They crossed the road and entered the other side of the park. In the distance, there was just enough brightness from the light posts to illuminate a distant body of water. He asked her what it was. "That is Marseille," she said. By the time they reached Marseille, the fog had fallen very heavily, and it finally enclosed them. It appeared that nothing was around them, that they were the only two beings in the world. Only the sudden appearance of tall black trees through the wall of fog gave them some indication of an outside world. No sounds, not even a breeze reached them. She grasped his hand in such a way that their palms were joined by the interlocking of their fingers. As they walked, she tightened and loosened her grasp with a very slow but definite rhythm. As she tightened her hand, he tightened his. So you see, she is the aggressor. She had been leading him along the lake's boardwalk. She stopped, leaned against the iron railing, and looked up at the moonlight that was trying to shine through the fog. Okay, that is, give an example of that. 24. Then you asked about the page 28. Wouldn't mind living. It's very quiet and peaceful, lots of nature. He turned to okay, so this is the reason. I'm reading this to show that Renata is the symbol of the unknown. Okay, so this is at the end of their day. He turned to, what are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. What could we do? What you would like. We'll think of something tomorrow. When do you come? Well, it's now, 1:30? She said, I think we did much talking. I don't talk too much, do I? No, it was very interesting. He said, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I look forward to tomorrow. So do I. Good night. She answered hesitantly, good night. He sort of waved his hand, nodded his head, and quickly walked away. He wanted to turn around, but he didn't. He was almost sure she was watching him walk away. She was something, he thought, the way she had held his hand. Now here's a passage about the pessimism of German youth. She was born in East Germany, and she had been fortunate somehow to get to Hanover. And she spoke about the war. When the war was over, my father had nothing. This is Renata. We did not want to live under the Russians, so we moved here to Hanover in the West. We are lucky to have come here. You see what happens today in Berlin. Now, in 1961, the Berlin Wall was just going up, right? And now with this trouble in Berlin, you can't go back to East Germany. We cannot. Do you have any relatives there? Many. All the brothers and sisters of my mother and father are in the East. The war destroyed much in Germany, and much in me. Berlin, Hamburg, Hanover, Frankfurt, München, Leipzig, Dresden. Germany is no longer Germany. There are two separate countries. Soon we will be fighting each other, and the bombs will come again. John stared at her. We know what will happen. That is why we think only of now, and nothing of the future. So you don't think that way now, do you? Do you? You think differently. You don't have this is not your view now. No, it's different. Time changes. See, there's hope at the end of the tunnel. Always have hope. Is there anything else that you would like me to read? Any other sections?
You can decide.
Huh?
You can decide the things going forward.
The male character.
The
male character.
The male character. Let me see. Okay, page 62 is where we sort of get an insight into really how he is suffering. He did say he suffers a great deal. He still suffers. There was a gnawing feeling at the middle of his chest. He feared what he had to say and what would be said to him. He raised his eyes to the wooden bars and whispered humbly, Father, before I confess. Oh, I see what this is. This is a backdrop where he has a, this is showing him, oh, I see. He was Catholic, and this shows him in confession, okay? But not in Hanover. somewhere in New York, in the United States. He raised his eyes to the wooden bars and whispered humbly, "Father, before I confess, I need to ask you a question." "What is it?" the priest answered kindly. John hesitated. "How does the church know that the Bible is the Word of God?" The priest suddenly raised his head and stared through the wooden bars at the youthful voice. The priest bowed his head and meditated a few moments, then answered, "There are many reasons which make us know that the Bible is the Word of God. But most important of all is faith. Faith in Jesus Christ as your Savior. Faith that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came down from heaven, became a man, and allowed himself to be crucified on a cross so that you and every human being might be able to enter heaven. It is the faith that millions of people have possessed for the past 1900 years." The priest remained with his head bowed and silent for several moments, waiting for the young voice to respond. Slowly, the priest raised his head and turned it to the bars. "Son," he murmured. The priest saw the shaking candlelight as the curtain was pushed aside. "But son," the priest called. The youthful voice was gone. That night, before he went to sleep, John Kinter knelt at his bed looking at the blank paper sheet of the notebook. The thought of his whole faithful, believing life passed before him. His hand trembled. He stared at the paper and wanted to spill all his confusion into words and tried to begin to write. But his head dropped on his crossed arms and he cried. So he's severely in severe religious pain. And then comes this confrontation with this girl. And this is where the changes take place. Is there anything else? I think I gave you a feeling of the book. It's not yet published. Maybe Prince might. I'm doing a reading tomorrow at VVK in Hanover, and I'll do it the same way, and maybe it will get published. I think the next section I would like to do is these poems, unless somebody else has any other questions about this book, about anything so far. What I meant to say is that it's all of this is really autobiographical. The first part with the child, this takes this character, the same character, 10 years later. So you got him when he was 10, when he's 20, and now, who stole the poetry? Here it is. This takes him when he's 30 or 40. And you can now see it's the same character, but 20 years later. And now believing that nothing exists, that life is an illusion, that he now believes that man has lived like an animal, defining reality with his senses for millions of years. And that's wrong, because reality is on a subatomic level. That he believes that what is real is atomic. Subatomic. In other words, your body is made up of atoms. You believe that? Your flesh? Yes. And these atoms are moving at constantly.
Oh, atoms, right.
And so your body is changing constantly. And since you are changing so quickly, you do not stay the same from one moment to the next. And if you don't stay the same, you can't be the same. For example, let's say, we'll just take this piece of paper here. Let's say, this is Galeria Pande, okay? We call it Galeria Pande. But in 1 second, Galeria Pande, or any human being or any piece of matter changes into something else. At every moment, changes. Your bodies are changing. At every moment. Let's call it Copernicus. Every moment, Copernicus is changing. So, which one is Copernicus? To me, Copernicus does not exist and never did exist. Because even before you started here, there were atomic changes. Then that means Copernicus doesn't exist. He can't die. Because he's not here.
Well, are you rather an artist or a philosopher? Or are you an artist just in order to express your philosophy?
Right.
Oh.
But also, art is a road to discovery. Also, to me, I use art to express myself, but also it's also a tool to discover. It challenges me to find new things. That's the beauty of art, right? It's a tool to find new things. Like I'm forced to go on stage, and I have to be intelligent, so I have to write something. But when I write these things, I find, gee, look how interesting. You know? But if I wasn't forced to do that, I'd be lazy, watch television all day, eat pizza pie. Or ice cream. Or drink whiskey. I'd like to read some of these poems. I'm gonna get more emotional now. This is a piece called Atomic Nevermore, and it basically has the philosophy of Copernicus. Now these are pieces, for example, this piece, Atomic Nevermore, is right here. That's our first album since 1985, but it's done with 17 musicians, 4 of which are here tonight. Come into the end of the illusionary human world. Come into atomic nevermore. No past, no future, no present. Gone forever into the eternal atomic unknown. No time for the illusion of identity. Impossible to see or touch, only to feel and think. Being at every moment in the fiery sea of atomic activity. Free, free, free of all human rules. Disappeared in spontaneous atomic laughter. Come into the end of the illusionary world. Disappear into the warm atomic nevermore, where we lose our we. Non-existent, loose and smiling and free. Come, 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 come. Here's a very short piece now called Lies, which is from our second album. To the desperate who have no inner peace. Me, I have no generation. I have no time. I have no race. I have no species. I have no country. I have no planet. I have nothing. I am free. I am free. I am free. Free of so many lies. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Yeah,
Yes.
You said that the same person wrote the book about Hannibal and wrote the poems, and you use very often the words "my," "me," and "myself," and so on, and this contradicts your.
Yeah. Well, there are two ways. Right. I'm glad you said that. There are two ways to speak. There's the world of illusion, right, where we accept reality to be what our senses perceive. And there's the world of reality that Copernicus says that the world of illusion doesn't exist. So when I refer to this way, I'm really speaking in the old way, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking in the old way. It's a problem. A new language would have to be developed to speak Copernican, really. You know what I'm saying?
Why don't you try to?
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot to do. Because you bounce back from one world to the next. It's confusing to you, as you say, but you have to be aware. The main thing is that people become aware that this is the world of illusion, that it is an illusion, and that you don't deify it. Don't say this is real, because it's not real. So, but I thank you for the question, and you're right. But there is a problem there.
When you said, don't say this is real, but some minutes ago you said this is how German youth was, and this is how German youth is, and this is how youth is, and so on. How does it suit together?
Yeah, there's a conflict there, isn't there? But again, when I was speaking in that way, I was speaking in the language of illusion. I was speaking in the language of illusion rather than in the language that really should be developed, which would be Copernican, which would express that whole world that Copernicus describes, the world that doesn't exist. That's another language that has to be developed, no doubt about it. Because in that language, there would be no I, there would be no you, there would be no he, or she, or we, or you, or they. They wouldn't be there. Because in Copernican, the land of Copernicus, there is, we are not there.
What's the difference? You are able to say this is like this and that's like that. You are able to talk about your perceptions. So where's the difference? You say there is nothing, and you talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's the difference is that here is where Copernicus is totally being Copernicus. And all of this was really written pre-Copernicus, before these realizations took place, okay? So, plus the fact that this world of illusion, I'm aware that this is an illusion. I'm not unaware that it's an illusion. I don't deify this world. In other words, I wouldn't be saying, oh, this is the real thing, this is reality. What I see here is real. What I am aware, and when I look here, I am aware that what I see with my eyes is not real. See, I see the billions of atoms between me and the owner of Galeria Pande now. Or me between you, there are billions of atoms. And you disappear. You're not even there. I can see all the atoms in your body and in your coat. You're not even there. You understand? You just disappeared.
What do you live for then? Do you just
I don't live.
For
I'm not here. I don't exist and I can't die. I was never born. Well, it's not, you laugh, but it's not funny. That's why I call myself Copernicus. Because they laughed at the first Copernicus when he told them that the Earth was not the center of this planetary system, that it was the sun, and they laughed at him.
Is that what you still believe? That you still aren't here?
I still am, I believe that I'm not here, right. Yes, yes.
Whom am I talking to then? To a couple of atoms?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
You're not talking at all because you're not here. It's funny, but when Copernicus told the world that the Earth was not the center of the solar system, after they had believed that for more than 2,000 years, they wanted to burn him. He was too old to burn, but they burned everybody else after him who said that. Well, Joshua made the sun stand still, right? Any other questions?
Is this your aim to be burned as the last consequence?
If I ever got any more power or anything like social power or something, they would kill me. No doubt about it.
No,
I don't. They, especially in the United States. That's where they kill anybody that says anything new, huh? Or threatens who threatens their power. The world is in the hands of a mafia. Anybody, the whole world, Germany too. Germany's part of the mafia. All of these countries, all the countries of the world, a small group of people own everything. And if a person like me ever got more power or something that threatened, and I definitely would be a threat to them,
I think what you're doing is a kind of burning. That's what I mean.
A burning?
It's a kind of burning, what you're doing here tonight. Just losing up into yourself, in your kind of expression, in your language. Maybe getting just an ensemble of atoms and thoughts.
Yeah.
And this was my question, just as a state to reach in a more essential or more intensive way.
Yes, be. Just be what you are at every moment. That's where you want to go. We are free, as he says, free of all human rules. Now this is a longer piece here. I recorded this actually to disco music. It takes a lot of energy to read this one the way I read it. And I'll try it. Hold on tight. Beat here. This is called Victim of the Sky. In fact, this album is called Victim of the Sky. Copernicus is a victim of the sky. And it's on this piece here. 4 minutes long. Beat here. Sway near. Sway flowers. Take it now. Look, talk, switch, touch. This is where we touch each other and flow. Let it flow onto the flowers and make them grow. Come on now. Come on, let's get it now, I said, let's get it now. I said, now, let's get it. Let's touch the sun now. Let's sweat together. I see the back of my heart. No. Stare through my eyes, let it all sweat now. Oh, I love you, little sweet. Let's get it now. Take all I say in my soul. I never felt so good. Never. Life. Hey, now, take it away. And when you take it away, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be like the beach. The pebbles rolling through my veins, touching you, swaying alone. When you scream in all the beach, kissing, and I know the atoms, I know the universe, I know the macrocosm and the microcosm, but I say when the turn walks into its own mind, and the passion kisses all the screams, and the visions cry out into the night, and the singing dreams of all the turns mash out into its own subtotal, the greening macrocosm, clashing with the microcosm, and all in the sweat of Nevermore, turning out into its own kiss and beating, standing still like the victim of the sky, turning with Nevermore's dream, vacuumed down alone, sent out and beat down and walked into its own kiss. Oh, so zazapata, zoo, 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 zoo. Was done spontaneously off the top of my head in a recording studio. I see a mix, and I never really analyzed this until now. Now, really, I'm seeing it's a sensual poem mixing with the atoms. But here's another one. Here's another one playing with patriotism and this concept of countries. It's called Not Him Again. No, not him again. Not him again. Oh, no.
him again. ¿Es pas français? ¿Es que tú hablas francés? Yo hablo español. Porque cuando yo hablo español podía ver toda mi vida, toda mi alma volando por toda mi sangre, dejando todos los huesos volar al universo. Take it now, so good, sing, it's all right, peace, take it. It's so good, it's so good. Galia esti en tres partes. Et alors, nous sommes dans le son. Est-ce que tu connais Paris? Paris, qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Paris, ça c'est Paris. Paris n'existe pas. Allons enfants de la patrie. Le jeune de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie. Les torrents sanglants élevés. Les torrents sanglants élevés. Mesure des féroces. Oiseaux, citoyens. Armez vos bataillons. Marchons, car 5 peu, abreuve nos sillons. Take it now, song, take it when I disappear. I've left humanity. I've left humanity. I'm in my heart and dream. I'm in my mind. I've left my body. I've left my body. My mind has allowed me to leave my body. I've left my insecthood. I've left my fishhood. My algaehood. My gorillahood. And in the sense of the atom, I live. I live. 'Cause it gives me the disappearance. The disappearance of freedom, and no one can touch.
This is not sitting. Somebody might think I was sitting here writing 6 months on it. This came out in 4 minutes, right? That's the way it worked. Here's another one, 9 minutes. I did this, took this one off the top of my head. I have great musicians. But this one is called Chichen Itza Elvis, and it's from our 3rd album. Does anybody have any questions? I like the dialogue too, to be part of this.
What kind of music are you doing? This called funk music.
I really use all different kinds of, the music is improvised, so I use all different kinds of forms. For example, this was recorded with 17 musicians.
How much?
17, in one big studio, spontaneously. Well, this one doesn't too much go into the philosophy. It's called Chichen Itza Elvis. This doesn't go too much into the philosophy. It just talks about, well, I think I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to stay with the philosophy. Here's one called Hurl Silence. And when it seems if I had anything to say, I would hurl only silence to the world, allowing the atomic and subatomic particles to make all the noise. Realizing my own illusion and my own nothingness, and selfishly stay in non-existence forever, staring at the rest of humanity stabbing themselves with their ignorance, like a drop of water that sticks to a leaf, waiting for the sun to take it. I should just stay in silence and find some food somewhere with an inner silence that reaches to the universe. Anything other than survival is ego illusion of the senses, and that is the bottom line. What did the dinosaurs leave? What will humanity leave when it's gone? And it will be gone. A grass-covered Empire State Building, silent asphalt melting in the sun,
with the irresponsible wind whistling through disappeared humanity? In the dust to dust cliche, the silent dust that made so much fury. I should just stay in silence. But I don't.
Now this is a very famous piece. Some people like this the best. I'm not getting drunk here, I'm just using energy. It's called Atom by Atom. This is really one of our best noted pieces in the United States anyway. It's called Atom by Atom. Let the rain fall on my tombstone and wash away my name. And let me lie in my unmarked grave in the earth, revolving around the sun, unconscious, skinless, and at complete rest. Let the atoms that make up my bones dissipate and return to the earth. Unconscious in rest, returning to Mother Earth, free of humanity, free of humanity, animals that have everything and nothing. Humanity, enemy of the earth. Oh, blow yourself away. Blow yourself away, humanity. The sooner you turn yourself back to atoms, the better. The sooner, the better. Conscious life is a waste anyway. The earth can do without you. Let me lie in my unmarked grave, unable to see and hear and feel, revolving around the sun and skinless, returning to the atomic sea, atom by atom, by atom, by atom, by atom. Now this is a long piece that I'm going to read it. It has to do with the search, and it's on our first album. That this deals with the character really who's searching for truth, the intellectual answer to truth. But at some point, you get so tired, it's so hard, and you beg for rest. And so the name of this piece is Let Me Rest. It's 3 pages long. Stampeded by the teachers, stampeded by the gods, stampeded by my mind, stampeded by men, stampeded to the desert where the sun burns dry and the silence crashes into its own sky and holds the dream of the scorpion's ant, and blades of silence squish into the blood, and the palms search into the sky and rise into the warm dance that heats the soul. Stampeded to the mountain, where the bears hang from the snow, pillaging forests hanging through the rain, water running through the blocks, beat songs hungering through the air, icicles mumbling in the green, stampeded to the rivers, washing in the nudes, washing through the search, washing through the baptism, torn by the tree's call, where the uplifting bare arm sounds extend like prayers, and the upside down figures that belch up the misunderstood songs that walk into the valley's dream, stampeded to the ocean's blue, where the tears nourish the youth's smile and the warm dreams that slosh through the December's Atlantic. Long-term dreams, spray on the paper of the poems,
poems in the papers of the mind, stampeded in the passion of the chorus, stampeded into the songs, song turnstiles, hounded by men, hounded to their cathedrals, hounded to their stone-vexed songs, Gothic dreams in an unclean paper village, village where the windows hang with blood's cross. Cross into the empty call where the black robes unfold like visions and whisper sweet cliches in the wind. Hounded, hounded in the ships, hounded in the plains, hounded by this one thought dream, driven by my own blank paper, driven into its own need to be felt and warned, driven by its call to me, call to me, call to me, driven blank paper, paper blank song, blank mind, tabula rosa. The need to understand. Boiling tears, bubbling through all the mind's thoughts that twist between their village call. Sound turn into the whispering dance that clipped the soul, where even the kisses were sounding and stampeding the hounds, passing into the gnawing dream where the village street called and the cat calls thunder, raced with the rain, pounding and hounding, stampeding and hounding, 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 hounding into the caves, hounding. Life turned song and let it fear, let it sweat, and it beats, almost half a century of beating sweat, sweat into the sound and blood, blood-boned, bone-toned, tongue-dreamed song. They cast, oh, let me rest. Let me rest. Rest in the sand. Rest in the mud. Rest in the worst bug-ridden bed that I can find. Rest in the snow. Rest in the wearied eyes of a pair of breasts, a vagina. Rest in a cloud. Rest lying in the street, watching the maniacs go by. Rest in the cold snow when the water leaks up your arm. Rest in the sleeplessness of the bar when the bartender pokes you. Rest in the darkness of the theater where the hard seat pangs at your back. Oh, let me rest! Rest in the hard bench of the church where you look up and see gold, fancy architecture and colored windows. Rest in the sea where the salt gags your lungs. Born in the egg, sworn in the egg. Oh, let me rest. Ah, let me rest. 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 Let me rest.
Are there any other questions? I'm going to read one final song, one final piece. It's called Chichen Itza Elvis. It doesn't really contain too much philosophical things. It basically deals with the fact that when you stand here and you speak German or English, you know, you think that you were born in the egg and you came out speaking German. No, German is a language that was evolved over many thousands of years. Language itself was evolved over thousands of years. Everything that you are a product of millions of years of evolution. And this is what Copernicus does in this poem. He reaches back into all of the cultures that have lived in the past, and he says, you know, we're not alone here. Every place you go, all of the civilizations of the past walk with you. You're their final product, and you should know that. That's why it's very crucial that you travel to ancient ruins. I just finished, one of the most important ruins to go is to Egypt. That is the mother of your mind. In this piece, in fact, I will do it on stage. It's called Ra. It's on here. I'm not going to do that tonight, because I'm going to do that on stage at Bad Hanover in Hanover in 2 days, or 3 days. So this is called Chichen Itza Elvis.
Khajuraho sings a silent song, screaming with its own blue village, walked slowly where the rocks hang loose, screaming into their own mirror, mirror on to Athens' dream, Athens on alongside, Uxmal embellishing the dream, Uxmal, turn me song, Monte Alban whistling with its gold, Chichen Itza lying into the song of Nevermore, lying into the song of the song, Tula, whoa, Tula, walking where the pillars could only dream, melody in its own force, walk where the lack of ruins could no longer be seen, Dakar on the sound of the throne, throne where the village beat splashed upon its own boat, the boat to the end of Nevermore, Nevermore onto its own grip, the old Dutch and the sound of the Portuguese, the sound of the Portuguese and the sound of the Dutch, the sound of the English, English, Dutch, English, Dutch, English, Dutch, English, Dutch. Take me, gold mine, talk with Zimbabwe, long with my own Lord, Lord in my own prayer, where the mirror reflects the visions of Nevermore, and the ashtrays of the songs wash their ashes into the sea, and the sea laughs like a fool, and wise men turn their own cheek, but wise men never hear the song, wise men never see the blue, wise men never see Chichen Itza. No, no, take me, song. I walked into the song, I walked. Ephesus holding all the old dinosaurs, pillars of Diana. I sung that dream, I walk song dream, I walk with my long song dream, my hair whitening in the air. Song told me Persepolis was gray, gray in the song of the King of Kings, and the lonely pillars yelling loud note songs. Does it wonder what song would be? Ah, what song be sips here? Return the tongue, visions with the old tongue would pray. I'm no longer free. I see the song walked upon Machu Picchu, turned me into my dance, man. Sing me the song and dream, dream where the valley no longer sees. La pirámide de la luna, el Valle de Mexico. We're not alone here. No, no. We sung these songs before. We are not alone here. We are not alone here. And now it's my turn to curl my tongue into my song and let the vision of the old tones whisper. I sweat songs. I sweat dreams. The microscopic fume, song atoms, electrons. Read the other book song. Read the other book song. When the corn seed was green, and the old song sounded like the pillaging choir of the Viking's dream. Light my tone, hung with my heart sung dry, heart with my heart felt, with all that I could see and all that I could stand. Heart song, hold on to the living soul. Hold on to the soul. Hold on to the pulse of life. Hold on to the vision. Hold on in life. Heart with the bones dry, brave, lone, dry. I sing here, but I don't exist. Hey, Elvis! Hey, Elvis! Hey, Elvis! 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 Elvis!
Thank you very much. Did my best. And hope maybe we'll see you at Bad Hanover in about 2 or 3 days. It's on the poster. I'm not sure exactly what day it is. And we'll be doing lots of other things that none of the that we haven't done here. But they'll be with the great musicians. They have 4 wonderful musicians from New York. Thank you very much. If there are no other questions, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer anything. Do you feel that you all understand the concept of what I was talking about, that nothing exists? Is there anybody here that thinks that they don't exist? Anybody here exists?
Sure.
Yes? You exist?
I do.
Okay. I enjoyed this very much. It's I've never done a poetry reading like this before. And it was very interesting for me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.